What's up, everybody? My name is Richard Terrell, and I also go by Kirby Kid, and you are watching DO Live. It's a daily stream in which we talk about game design. We start on the Discord, and sometimes we finish on these daily streams. We talk about a lot of different topics because we're constantly talking about game design all day, but for the next, I guess, 5 days or next week or so, we're only talking about Smash Brothers. This is episode 16 of this long Smash Bros series in which I try to get all my thoughts out on Smash Brothers in the last 20 years of my life that I've been playing Smash, and we've gone over a ton of topics. So just briefly, you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on all these crazy platforms like so. You can find these videos on the streams on our YouTube channel, and it all goes by design oriented. Here's some information if you can read that off the screen. Smash resume, don't go over this every time, but I added at the bottom that I was interviewed or have been a guest on multiple internet-based news info sites about Smash. One was about the Smash meta and how it's changed over the years, and then shout outs to 2GG and BAM. They had a live Smash show, and I was piped in via Skype or whatever, online streaming to give my thoughts on various news and happenings in Smash. So just one more thing that I've done, part of the Smash community, just listening to different voices and being a voice over the years. So let's go back to our list here. And, today is 4th of July. Everyone's on vacation. I just wanted to take it easy. I'm going to do 2 streams today. This one's just me killing some time before I go out and hang out by the pool. But I wanted to just do Pac-Man. Pac-Man's bonus fruit and beautiful differentiation. I also kind of want to do Mario's Dare. That might make the stream too long, but so let's see if I can get both of these knocked out. Pac-Man's fruit, Mario's Dare, and why people hate triplats. I touched on this last time when I talked about platforms and how it's a whole nother part of Smash's core game, which consists of 5 major parts: ground to ground, air to ground, air to air platforms, and edge guarding. Like, all those have their own unique rules and pros and cons, and a lot of times people just want to focus on edge guarding and ground to ground because those seem to be the most necessary components. So whenever there's a situation where somebody's gaining the advantage on one of the other parts they didn't want to practice, a lot of people cry foul and they complain, and it's really not good for the meta, but it's fine for making people lose matches. So it's kind of its own topic, but I wanted to talk about Mario's down air. Where is that? Right here, Mario's down air and beautiful differentiation, and then we'll talk about platforms. So I clicked that. I was hanging out on the Smash Dojo, which is the website we made. I was looking at Pac-Man combos. We'll continue that in a second, but I saw this really cool video, so I'm going to do Mario versus Meta Knight. Meta is 2 words, haha. And I'm going to show a video that I made and put on the One Smash Twitter a little while ago. Hopefully it even pops up. Here it is. So this is probably a reason why a lot of people don't like platforms. You can probably watch it in nice smooth frame rate on your own, but here it is. It basically shows that when you're playing Smash Brothers, you want to kill your opponent, and this is a combo that you can do. I'll go back in the video a little bit. This is a combo you can do even though your opponent's at low damage from the side platform. So once again, because the side platforms are closer to the top blast zone, 5.4k hours, yeah, that's a lot. Since your opponent's near the top of the side or top blast zone, this combo is more viable here. I picked a light character like Meta Knight just to demonstrate, but the whole idea of Smash is not to just rack up your opponent's damage. The whole idea is you get whatever it takes, get it done no matter when and no matter where. It may seem safe to rack up damage and go for a relatively less risky kill move, but Smash has changed a lot in the years. In Brawl, that's kind of what it took, because Brawl had other problems with offense and defense. In Melee, there was a whole time where people loved their zeros to death, and Marth would back throw Falco, down tilt, and then drop off fair and basically kill him. And people love that, but now people have weird opinions about, like, oh no, we got a 0 to death in Smash 4, we got to balance this and take it out. Like, what are you talking about? You used to love this stuff. But anyway, this is an example of how platforms and how dynamic Smash is. At lower percentages, just based on spacing and positioning, you can go for setups like this, and these are true combos. The opponent can obviously DI to mess it up, but this is just demonstrating how a lot of these situations can connect, and how you can get a lot more advantages than you thought and more utility out of moves. So people normally DI this down throw away, so you can't really follow it up. So this usually doesn't happen when they DI properly, but it's a mix-up, because if you throw them up and they DI away, they're actually right in the right position to get killed the other way. So even though a lot of things in Smash have counters, it's still hard to pull them off. Here's another cool situation where you use a down air, And since this has a lot of base knockback, even at low damages, the opponent's going to fly high. And it wraps up quickly after the final hit, so you can just follow your opponents. And if they're on the top platform, you're in trouble. So here's something cool on the side platforms. You use moves to take your opponents up to the different platforms, and then you can do different follow-ups. This is what I call stair-stepping, but you just like use these as stair steps, and you're basically resetting the ground higher and higher to the blast zone, which it makes it to where you do less and less work to take your opponent off the top. A lot of people don't. So a lot of people stair step, and there's a lot of different ways to do it, especially with footstools available to every character. But a lot of people just, you know, make us think about Zero Suit Samus and Mario being able to do this. A ton of characters can do this, and they could probably do it a lot better in other situations that requires less sort of adjustments and less hits to get really good advantages, because instead of needing to take someone up to the top with 3 jumps and 2 hits and final up B, they could probably just like take advantage of just landing on one of these platforms and then follow it up with a stronger up smash or a stronger whatever they have in their kit. So this is another interesting case where you use a weak back air and you follow it up because the back air auto cancels really well, but instead of needing to drop back down to the ground, you just drop back to this platform right here. You drop straight down and you recover faster, and then just because of the way the angles and the hit stun works out, that becomes a unique opportunity. This is another cool one. You kind of put them on the platform, and since that we hit knocks the opponent low enough, they can either be forced to land on the platform or whatever, and that allows you to pursue and potentially get another good follow-up, which is what I demonstrate there. Or this is the up throw bottom platform thing I was telling you guys about before. There's so many things you can do where your opponent really has very few options depending on how much damage they have, and you can mix up those options in your favor really well. And if they try to DI, like, okay, so if they try to DI the up airs, this up throw footstool would really jack that up, because then they're like, oh shoot, I'm DIing away, and then you can just re-grab them and do a different mix-up. If they don't know to DI the up airs, do the up airs. Like, why not? There's so many possibilities in the offensive player's kit. Yeah, like that. You can reset that with an up tilt. It's so interesting. So what's interesting about this up tilt is I don't think Meta Knight's had enough damage to DI it left or right hard enough. I guess he wouldn't just tumble stun, but yeah, depending on which move you use, every move has different properties and every follow-up is different. So it's not just like the opponent can learn one counter and deal with it. So that's probably a reason why people don't like platforms, is because they don't understand them, they don't want to use them. They'd rather simplify the game and then play around what they know instead of expanding what they know and playing around what's possible. And I think you're going to see that tendency a lot in every Smash, every time humans are involved in competing and learning when it's difficult. I've heard it expressed one time for Wave Dash, which is, you know, an old Smash buddy of mine it's head of that project, and they just recently released a beta last weekend, and it looks like they're doing really well. But one of their fans asked a very funny question I thought was funny, but he's like, is this going to be one of those games where you have to learn matchups, or can I just learn like 1 or 2 characters and do really well? Which is such a funny thing to ask. It's basically saying the more characters you put in a game that are viable, the more work you have to do. It's a lot more you have to learn, it's a lot more you have to practice or think about, and that's work. It's hard. But if the game has basically a few playstyles, no matter how many characters you have, or just a few viable characters, it's a lot easier to just learn a smaller set of things and then dig deeper. So I can understand the sentiment. That's why a lot of people don't understand Smash 4 and its type of balance, and having more viable characters and having the gap between the sort of high tiers and low tiers being much less. Like how much harder that makes the game overall in a very particular way. We talked a little bit about how Splatoon before. Hopefully I finished that thought in the other stream. But with Splatoon, people want less combinations of game types to stages so they can practice on specific stages and not have to worry so much about every single combination. So that is a problem. It is an issue, and something that as a designer you have to address in different ways. So let's just go over Mario's down air. I'm going to put in the keyword dare here, because that's the naming nomenclature that we use. And I'm just going to go over some of these different setups here. So I think Mario's down air is like such a Smash 4 move. I don't think we've seen anything like this in any other Smash. It's a move. So like before, I said one of the interesting ways to describe how Smash is designed is that it's a systemic. Moves are designed systemically instead of to fill a very specific functional role, anticipating how the game's going to be played. Rather, the game is made with a bunch of moves. And yes, the moves have function, and sure, like the obvious function is easy, but like how it fits in to where the game's eventually going to get on a high level or whatever, it's just not really the major concern. It's just like we just want to make this move be itself, and then the job of Smash Brothers is to move in a way and find the timings to where it works out in some of your favor. So let's see who my opponent is. Charizard. Full jump, aware, double jump, dare. Needs a bit of rage to set up a hole from the counter up special. What is this? Combo kill, full jump, aware, double jump, dare. So what damage is that? Charizard at 120. Okay, let's show it. Might as well. So the dare has a ton of complexity. Where's Charizard? There you are. And I'm going to go to Kurogane real quick to show Mario frame data. Always have it handy. Mario's there. Right here, hits 5 times, hits on frame 5, which is pretty fast. 7, 9, 11, 13. Or it takes 6 times. The final hit, there's a gap between when it hits on frame 13 and 25. So here, these gaps are just like 2 frames each. So like, and then it goes gap for the last one. The last one does the most damage. The last one has knockback growth of 100, so it's pretty strong. It's got base knockback is 80, right? That's a lot. That means even at 0 damage, which I'll demonstrate in a second, the opponent's going to go far. The angle is about 75, whatever. We can just look at that. And Dare Landing has an active hitbox for 3 frames, and then, you know, it has all these other properties. So in one move, you get 3 lines of entry to detail what it does, and that's kind of unique for Smash, but even though the move looks simple, there's a lot to think about here. So let's go over to the game. I'll show you. So, like, there it is. That's it. One of my favorite moves in the game, right here. And, like, people keep talking about landing lag in Smash Ultimate, and they're so... I just think they're so stupid, like, for lack of a more considerate and kind word. Like, this move wraps up right after the hit, just like Sonic's up air, which I showed you before. And I'm telling you, if you just tune the way moves wrap up in the air and tune up things like auto cancel windows, you don't need to have super low landing lag. This is actually better for the game. And I can show you the flow that I'm talking about in another video because it's going to take a couple explanation. But look how low to the ground I can get that, and then just jump immediately. I think that's even less landing lag than L cancel, because basically the move wraps up and you have 4 frames of soft landing, just, you know, for animation's sake, and then you can jump immediately. Like, what more do you want? I don't get it. So I get the sentiment. Like, Melee taught people to drive attacks into the ground, and when you drive them into the ground, the later you hit their shield, the more advantage time you get, because when you L cancel, you're going to recover that much faster. But this game's different. We don't want the majority of your advantages and the majority of your attacks to just be like this tiny little instant right before the ground, like this tiny little Like, we want moves to be up here, we want moves to be over here and up here, and we want to fill out the space because we have 60 characters we have to differentiate, and we got to make them all look and feel and play different. So everything can't just be like L cancel, shuffle. And what L cancel does is it makes majority of the timings that you want to do for your attacks into the ground, like the similar kind of optimization, like as close as possible to the ground with your hitbox is active up until that point. Well, this is different, and I'll show you a lot of cool differentiation with just down air from Mario. So I can drive it into the ground, and it actually combos like this. It combos. It can combo to down tilt. Oh, come on, Char. Come on, Char, be a putty. So four hits right there. It combos into down tilt, combos into up tilt. Right? It combos into F tilt. It combos into up smash. Nope, that didn't work. I can't believe how many people don't use this. Like, so Foxes in Smash 4 love to do drill, down air, slam to the ground, pursue with an up smash. Mario has the same setup, basically, where he can't run and chase after his opponents, but if he gets just a landing down air, he can combo to up smash. Charizard's a freaking heavyweight, so it doesn't actually true combo, but it pretty much true combos anyway. So let's just say it does, because it does on almost every character, and with Rage it'll make it even truer. So ignore that. But yeah, it combos into up smash. Definitely combos into down smash because it's 4 frames faster than up smash, right? And you got a move that combos. You're like, well, great. Like, maybe you want to drive this one to the ground. Like, maybe you do. Some moves in Smash 4 are built to drive into the ground to get some combos and advantages. They're built specifically for that. It's not like a universal quality. It's something that is a pro that can be given to certain moves, and a con, you know, trade-off when not given to certain moves or whatever. That's how you flesh out your design space. I'll show you here. The landing hit right here, like this is super consistent. That means whenever you land before the move's over, you get this hit, and that means the frame data, like timing wise, is always going to be consistent because it happens immediately upon landing. And even L canceling isn't that consistent because, you know, the distances that you hit the opponent's shield even slightly above the ground by frames, it's going to adjust the windows by frames. But this kind of design, putting landing hits in the game, makes certain follow-ups super consistent. I think a lot of people don't realize that. That's there for, you know, so you don't have to think so much about frame data. You can just trust the system. So here's another cool thing about down air. So what if we don't want to drive into the ground? Well, we can, you know, do the thing like this where we just do it in the air like that. And check this out. You can follow it up with another hit. Like that's 22 damage. Let's see if I can get a sweet spot. Look, 24 damage, all from a combo, right? But like, oh look, all the hits didn't combo. Look, it just says 2. The last 2 hits combo, but not the first few hits. Like, what's going on? Well, look carefully right here. Carefully. Down air. Combo. And remember that gap I told you about? It's right here. It's a gap. All 5 hits are over. You can see the 5 on the right side for the combo. But there's just enough time before the final hit. To see the time, Charizard's actually waking up. And then the final hit doesn't true combo. It's pretty much a true combo. Some characters can attack you out of it, rare. Some characters can air dodge out of it, a little more common. But it's hard for people to actually counter Mario when that happens. So you might be thinking, oh man, a hole. People can actually shield in time and maybe potentially drop shield and attack you in that gap. And let's see, the gap is from 13 to 25. So shield drop is 7 frames, so add 7 to 13 is 20. So if they have a 5-frame move, they could potentially drop their shield and hit you before the final hit. So if the shield, which I can't make the computer do, like tick 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 like that, they can just drop shield in between and hit you. Well, that's cool because that's like a specific counter based on the knowledge of this gap. But here's what's really cool about Smash Brothers. A lot of people think that it's about combos and tech and whatever, but really the beauty of Smash Brothers, which is also the beauty of so many action games, good action games, it's not all this complexity in the systems and the combo system and like elemental systems and weird ways to chain and build meter. Like all that is just supposed to rest on top of what I consider to be a much stronger core. And in this case, the stronger core is just about spacing and timing, right? How do your moves animate in the space and how do the timings work out and what you can do with that, right? So Smash Brothers is still a game where you have a lot of control in the air like that. You can just like DI left and right. You can see my character wiggling left and right. That's because Mario has fairly good air control and he's Mario. You expect as much. The hole isn't that bad because you can do so many different things with it, right? So let's see if the computer can do any of them on attack. Nope. Reset you. So the computer oftentimes likes to shield the... Oh, stop that. Stop flare blitzing. Shield the initial attack. Shield. Why are you so bad at shielding? You used to be so good. No, quit flare blitzing over and over. It's such a bad reactive hit. Stop. Oh my gosh. The fireball somehow reversed his input and he killed himself. This is how bad it is training for Smash, by the way. Well, maybe I'll just show you more of the combos without him doing junk. So like, yeah, you can end the down air and look how much space you have after the hit happens if you down air immediately from a short hop. All that time to land on the ground. I'll even pause it for you. Bam. This is exactly when I could be recovering if I were closer to the ground. And if I were recovering here and jumping up, I wouldn't spend all this time jumping down, landing down, then pursuing up like that. So in Smash, it's all about, you know, action games, all about these tiny optimizations. Like, instead of doing this immediately, what happens if you slightly delay it, right? Like, oh, if you slightly delay it, you'll recover just like I showed you before. closer to the ground, which allows your next follow-ups to be even more secure, like even more viable. So even at 0%, if you get a down air, you can actually footstool that and like follow it up with different things because you optimized it that much. I think what a lot of people need to start focusing on when how to describe, you know, competitive games, strategy games, action games is where are the little optimizations and how intuitive is it to come to these conclusions. And this should be super obvious, right? You can like see the move end, and right after the last hit, you don't want to be committed. So like, how about shaving that as close as possible to the ground? And you just kind of learn this timing. It's just a slight delay, and some people have a better sense of timing than others, but it's not that hard. So that's a cool thing you can do if you shave the frame to get it really close to the ground. Here's another cool thing about this move. What if you don't, or what if you full jump it? Well, okay, here's another cool thing. The move wraps up before it hits the ground when you do it immediately, and it leaves you with all this time afterwards, like I told you before. But it actually wraps up so quickly that you barely have enough time to sneak a neutral air, there it is, right before your character lands. And Mario, that's the only move he can sneak in from this setup. Like sometimes you're like, did they tune it like this? There, neutral air, that's a hitbox. And that's a hitbox that comes out one frame before he lands on the ground, which is super convenient for trying to get your as much advantage as possible. So this actually creates a cool frame trap, a real frame trap, not the stuff that Smashers call a frame trap. But if they shield this initial part, you can react to the fact that they shielded it, and then decide to land with the neutral air to try to get their shield grab. Bam! At the last second, you can see them react to it and pull away and try to avoid the shield grab. You can react to it and double jump to try to stuff their shield grab with a footstool, a grounded footstool like this. Boop! There's so many things you can do just because this move wraps up in the air, which is something that's a little bit unconventional for Smash Brothers moves. Yeah, because they don't do a lot of auto-canceling in Melee. There's like Mars Short Hop Neutral Air or Forward Air that actually auto-cancels, which is more ideal in certain situations, but a lot of characters either float cancel like Peach, auto-cancel, never touch the ground like Jigglypuff, or just drive their attacks into the ground. This is something different and kind of new and really intuitive, I think. We talked about auto-canceling in another video. So that means if your opponent thinks you're going to neutral air on landing and beat their shield grab, they might delay their shield grab, which is another counter to the counter. But then if you think they're going to delay their shield grab, don't do the neutral air and land an empty grab, right? Like the back and forth is just all based on these very simple to understand interactions, like attacks. When are they going to attack? When can they attack? And are they going to attack? Are they in range or are they not in range? And that usually should be the question that's constantly at the core of every strategy. If you get too far away from that when you're talking about a fighting game or an action game, I think you're getting too far away from what makes these games great. You know, that kind of segues into a talk about wave dashing and wave sliding and dash dancing and all these other advanced techs, but we'll talk about that another time. I want to keep going about this down air. So then your other option is, well, what if you look like you're going to do a short hop down here like this, but you do a full hop? They might think you're doing a short hop because they just reacted like the hits or whatever, and then their reaction might be to air dodge out of it, or to shield, or to try to attack, and then you're actually over here behind them, and they're too busy stuck, thinking that you're going to be doing one of these moves. Right? So like that's another way just to mix up your position. In an instant, they might react to the wrong thing, but you're going to do a full jump because you're holding the button. They don't know that. They have to spend so much more time, and it stresses them out so much differently than to react with their eyes, and you're just like, haha, I'm super confident. That's another way that the advantage goes to the attacker, and you don't need like super crazy frame data. You just need hits, moves, hitboxes, and the ability to adjust. Like that's what the core of Smash is. So let me bring it back to the website. This is one of the reasons why I think this move is amazing. The hole looks like it's an opportunity for your opponents to counter you, and it is, but then ultimately the control is in Mario's hands to create mix-ups, to create pressure, to fake out the opponent, to understand the limitations. And let's go back over here. Let's look at some of the examples. Landing dare to F smash. Landing dare to F smash is a combo that only works on floatier characters because they're too floaty to jump out of the way because of their jumps are slower. They're too floaty to land on the ground and shield. It's just the right combination. Let me quit this. To combo that, and it works on Samus, it works on Ness, it works on Peach. You know, Ness, it works on Ness and Peach, and that's actually like a really, really dangerous thing, right? If you think about it, I'm gonna show you on Ness, because they're like, wait a minute, F Smash is one of Mario's strongest smashes, and it's so hard to use, but the game essentially just gives you a move, you can do it in combo into it. So why aren't people using it? It says at 80 damage. It's like, well, it's because, you know, just understanding which characters it works on and which doesn't, that's work. And being confident and working it into your game and setting it up, I don't think Ness can get out of that. And we'll see using this basic test. I'm going to initiate the combo. And then I'm going to switch the computer onto attack. See how he barely landed before it attacked? He didn't have enough frames to soft land and shield. He didn't have enough frames to jump. And he also didn't have enough frames to air dodge because he would have to jump then air dodge. And that would make him invincible on frame 4. It's still not enough frames. Like, he just doesn't have the timing. It just doesn't work out for this dude. And then he gets hit. So that works for Ness, it works for Peach, it works for Samus. That's just a cool thing of understanding, wait a minute. Like, if the opponent is sort of in the danger zone and they're not quite touching the ground, I should have the advantage. And anytime that is the case, you should have the advantage. It's not a matter of like understanding super minute frame data. It's just about using your eyes and being like, wait, if they're not on the ground, they can't shield. And if they can't get out of the way, they get hit. Like, that's Smash. Here is a Dare footstool setup submitted by this dude from Twitter. Let's take a quick peek at this. Another similar situation. Peach is floaty enough that the down air sends Peach higher into the air than it does heavy characters. Because she's higher in the air, she's susceptible to the next attack. In Mario's case, he can jump full jump up air and proceed to combo. That's crazy. Let's just 60% is a magic percent against Captain Falcon and fast fallers. Down throw, pummel, F smash, full jump, back air, fall break, nair, guard, D tilt, up tilt into cape traps. That's a lot of stuff. I think that's too many things for that entry. Use grounded footstools to counter dash grabbers. Can't really show that right now. And half these videos are broken now. That's just like the sad state of the internet. We'll just keep scrolling until we find a video. Because the videos show the mix-ups really well. And let's try this. So landing there, down throw, where's the dare? Okay. If the opponent is above 25%, adjust with the landing dare, which can do 2 to 4%. So these are Sonic combos. Which are fun to do. DI is hard to manage on this one, but it's just fun. It says you can adjust the combo with a dare to if the opponent's above 25%, because you need the opponent in very specific percentage windows to pull that off. Same thing here. At 26 plus damage, use a landing dare instead of a nair. So like understanding how some of your moves can be swapped out for other pieces in very specific situations. Another thing, yeah, there's a dare. See how the dare on that part like starts the opponent by lifting them up higher? So when they're at a certain percentage, you're going to need them to not be able to jump away, shield, or whatever, and just be like, oh, well, my landing up air does this height, but landing dare always does this height, and you're like, pick the right one for the job. Another cool thing I love about Smash is, you know, people keep talking about, oh, Smash is so fluid or whatever. Like, yeah, compared to Street Fighter and other more discrete style fighters, you're like moving all the time in Smash. But essentially, what I love about fighting games and action games is it's not about how smooth your character looks independent of the fight. It's all relative, right? Street Fighter, you may only be able to walk left and right and kind of do a little dash. But man, some of the most amazing moves are when people find the smallest windows to walk underneath their opponent when it otherwise would look like that's a terrible idea. And that just makes the crowd go wild. They're like, oh, that walk under! You're like, it's just walking, right? But you should always keep in mind it's about the context, and you can see it in so many different fighting situations. Like if you have the bold, the bravery to stand still and do nothing, quote unquote, on your turn, to let your opponent do something that you can react to, like that's a sort of intermediary lesson in fighting games, the power of nothing. And you'd be so surprised at how beginning players have such a hard time doing, quote unquote, nothing, right? So like in a fighting game, it doesn't matter if you're letting go of the controller and doing a Yomi counter in something like Serlin's fighting game Fantasy Strike, or you're doing something simple as holding the forward control stick slightly forward to walk, or you're doing crazy advanced movement techniques. It's all relative to the situation at hand, the pressure your opponent's building, and the kinds of holds you can make for yourself. So that's why when people are like, oh, don't you want the next Smash to have all these crazy movement techniques? No, I don't. I'd rather have it, if all things else being equal, the game being challenging and deep and expressive and all that, I'd rather have the game look more like this, like a clean looking Nintendo style Mario action game, platformer, whatever, that still has all these unique opportunities to do these subtle movements and wow the audience, and then have the characters just look like blurs and smoke clouds on the screen. Like, I don't want to fight in a classic 80s cartoon with a smoke cloud. I want to fight like a freaking plumber boy. So stuff like this, where you can do up airs, and instead of landing on the left side of your opponent, you land on the right side, and then back air, and then pursue like that. Or you do a down air and keep them on the same side of your body. These are just really subtle optimizations and subtle mix-up changes. Right there, I down aired when Sonic was in the air, and it crossed me through him. And since the first hits of down air are so weak, they don't actually keep him flowing the same direction I'm flowing, and now I'm behind. And I do a grab, so even if he shielded or tried to shield grab, I would have been at the advantage. Like, so many subtle things you can do based on the hits and the knockback and the momentum and the flow. Like, it's all there. It's all there. It's just crazy. 65% characters with 3-frame air dodges cannot air dodge out of Mario's down air. That's another interesting thing that Rage affects in this game. It adds a little bit of knockback, but knockback is also hit stun, right? Because as you're getting knocked around, you can't do anything. So even on a small frame-to-frame level, just a little bit of Rage on Mario can make that hold that I showed you, where in between the down air, before the final hit, it can make it to where people cannot air dodge out of it when they could before. And that also is a bit of knowledge that can confuse people, which is fun if you know it, and not fun if you don't know it, so too bad. Here's a Rage sequence, landing nair to dare into down tilt, full jump up air, double jump up air, up special. Yeah, these are Rage combos that go into So here's another cool thing about dare. When you do a dare and hit someone in the air, they can pretty much DI like far away from you to where it's really hard to get any follow-ups unless they're at low damage. But right here, Peach is at high damage. You're like, well, what's happening? How are you getting these follow-ups? Like I showed you before, this is what people call a basic cross-up, a DI mix-up or a cross-up. If I'm on the left side of Peach, right here, so you can't really tell which side I'm on, especially in the heat of the moment. But if I'm on the left side, Peach wants to DI right to get away from me, because the move hits, to the right if I'm on the left, and then that'll put you further away from my next follow-up attack. But if I press through your body and end up on the right side, if you hold right against it, you're going to go straight up, because the DI potential is a cone that is dependent on sort of where the attack's initial default direction is going to send you. Let me just draw on the screen because it's getting tricky. So if Mario's here and Peach is here and does a down air, it's going to send the opponent at that 75-degree angle that we talked about before, relative to where Mario's side is. So in this angle, Peach can, let me see if I can get another color, blue, DI about this much in this direction, and this much. It's always like a relative percentage based on the default in that direction. So the more away Peach DI's here, my follow-ups as Mario to get over there, it's going to be harder because you're further horizontally away if you're here than if you DI'd here, right? That's a big difference. It's just a little difference, but every little bit counts. So when you consider a DI mix-up, it only works if you DI somewhere within that cone that they allow you to DI, and control your character. So if you think that the direction is going to be this way, and then you DI hard this way to get away from it, but the direction's actually this way, and you're DIing hard against it, which is, you know, this direction over here, that's, you add that vector, you're pretty much going to cancel it out and go maximum up. And that's exactly what happens here. The direction mix-up, whether I'm going to be on the left side or the right side of Peach, made Peach go up higher, and that brought her technically higher to the blast zone, which is not where she wanted to be. And in a subtle, quick difference, you can just kill Peach, right? And this is without rage. People keep talking about rage like, oh no, Mario's up B can kill characters at ridiculously low damage. You can be killed at ridiculously low damages anytime in Smash, whether you fail to get edge guarded properly, whether you get caped with Mario and fly off the edge, flooded against Mario, whether they get you on the platform and do a setup like this, or anything. Like, you should always be afraid for your life in Smash, and that's something that I like about it. So here is where's the dare? Full jump dare, double jump fair spike. So this is a combo that starts at 0, up throw, full jump dare. And they can air dodge out of the hole in the down air. But if they don't, you can do this cool like follow up, and none of this is like a true combo. So right here you see the word setup because it's a setup. Like, you try to just go fast and fluid enough that the opponent doesn't know what you're doing or which option you're doing to defend. That's why that one's pretty cool. Convert the auto cancel dare using tech, whatever. Let's see what happens here. If they air dodge before the first air, right there, if they air dodge there, then the danger jump air and convert it to an auto cancel dare. Okay, so this is a cool one. A lot of things that happen in Smash have holes in it, right? And everything's not like 100% like a combo in Street Fighter. So right here, Peach could have actually air dodged, because you can see the combo meter doesn't go to 2, and that means you're most likely able to air dodge out of it. And then this setup says like do this, but if they air dodge, followed up with this, and I think it speaks a lot to why Smash is really cool, right? You don't get a lot of guaranteed stuff even if you get a hit, but you have to understand your moves in a more flexible application to follow it up with stuff like this and that, given the chance. Oh, that one's fun. That's the B reverse fireball I showed you in another stream. And this one's just a setup that falls into a up air, right? Which is important at this damage for getting Peach just high enough to get this setup and kill her. Pretty crazy. This one's so crazy. This is almost impossible to get because of DI and other random factors. But here's an interesting case. So every move in Smash Brothers, right here, here's a down air. Every move in Smash Brothers has like different values, like knockback growth. Knockback is either based on weight, which is what the W is for. Is it based on how much damage your opponent has, which is what this growth number is for, or is it just strong without your opponent needing to be at high damage, which is what this base knockback BKB is for. This down air has a move that has a low and a high, a medium strength, or a high base knockback. This is high for base knockback, and a high killing, and then it has a weight base, which is going to be consistent all the time. This landing hit. And you know, this growth doesn't matter with the weight based right here. So this one move has all three types: weak, strong, or weak and always weak, consistent and always consistent, and strong but get stronger. Like, one move has all the, maybe 3-4 of the major types of moves in Smash based on this dynamic knockback system. So as you can see here, Ryu's not at that much damage, but so he kind of goes flying, but not flying far enough and fast enough for Mario to. He's flying. He only flies so far, so Mario's able to pursue with an up B, and this is super rare to do a move like that and not even use a jump to pursue him. And that last coin is not too strong, but the way that the curves work out, Ryu's just high enough to the blast zone that it kills him. This is super like finicky math stuff, and I wouldn't recommend trying this one in tournament. I mean, I recommend trying it. It might work, but it's probably not going to be consistent. But the idea that you can take your moves and be like, interesting, is normally the down air puts him out of my control, and normally if it had more damage, it would kill. But I found a nice sweet spot where it doesn't put them out of my control, and it doesn't kill, but it allows me to do a very unique follow-up. That's another thing I love about down air. Oh, where's the dare? If they recover immediately, so this just has a follow-up for the dare in case they recover from this. Maybe I'll show it in the video. See that? You use the down air after the footstool. Like that. You see that? So here's an excellent example. So you do the down air every time no matter what, and if your opponent drops too low from the footstool, you try to hit him against the stage with your up special. But remember I told you the first few hits of down air are super weak? Well, if you do it while jumping instead of away from your opponent, instead of jumping into your opponent, they might get clipped by your feet as you rise up. I gotta draw more arrows. Sorry guys, I love arrows. Your opponent rising up this way, it's gonna get clipped by your feet, your hitbox that are slowly getting pulled up. So even though Mario's hitbox on his feet are not big, as he travels upward, it just makes it to where it's even harder for Ryu to hit him. And then in this case, I down aired while moving slightly backwards, which put me on the right side of Ryu, and that turned his body around right here. So now he's facing this way, because in Smash, in Ultimate it's different, but in Smash 4 and all the other Smashes, if you hit someone, they always face you. Because he's facing the wrong direction, my brother is mashing up B to recover, and he didn't realize he was facing the wrong direction, and then he kills himself. Like, that's hilarious. Just taking the most subtle, minute properties of this move and just being like, hey, you can turn it into something very powerful, very tricky, very quickly. Yeah, this is the one where I told you if you get the move closer and closer to the ground, it true combos. And if you don't do it as close as possible, it's a difference between missing your combo like that because you can air dodge, or hitting your combo. Like, it's a difference, right? Shaving tiny optimizations. This one's cool. This is the one I was telling you about before. With the forward air, if they shield it, you can still react in time and get out of the way. And that's so. This is another cool thing about the fact that the move wraps up quickly in the air, and after that, obviously, it wraps up quickly on the ground. Like, if the move wraps up in the air, it's gonna be done, and it's gonna recover when it hits the ground. So in this case, you want to pursue in the air and kill them, just like I showed you before. But if they air dodge out of the hole, look at this. There's a hole in it, or if the move doesn't even hit because they air dodge. They air dodge. Well, this move's already over. Mario's already finished with the move. He's just gonna pursue down with the landing up air and then proceed to do other combos. Like, that's what's cool about Smash. A lot of people think that some characters can trap too easily. Some characters are designed to where they only pretty much get one aerial per jump, but Mario's designed where he can do two per jump. That's what makes him more like of a jumpy brawler style character. Is that his moves wrap up in the air because he's a freaking acrobat, right? That's what makes him Mario-like. Where's my down air? This one doesn't have a down air. Okay. I wanted to show the things against Mewtwo, but I think the videos didn't come out. Dare. Mario's dare. Oh, this is Ryu's focus attack is not a counter for Mario's dare. So in the gap between hits, Ryu tries to do a focus attack, which is designed to absorb one hit. But then Mario's move, again, wraps up so quickly in the air that he can follow it up before Ryu has a chance to counterattack. Like, there, Ryu absorbed the hit, and here Mario kicks him before Ryu can do anything. That's really cool. So it has nothing to do with landing lag. It just has to do with how moves are designed and how, like, mobile and acrobatic you want your characters to be. And here's another super cool thing. Look at that. So the move has a hole in it, and Ryu before tried to do a focus attack and absorb it and hit me, but failed. So now Ryu's probably thinking, like, I'll do a stronger move that starts off partially invincible or whatever, or just hits really hard, really fast. So Mario, knowing that his move has a hole, can make the first few hits hit, and then DI away from the opponent before the hole gets him in trouble. That's hilarious. And then in this special case, Ryu can just get killed. You flood him and then you cape him off the stage. It's hilarious. People should do that. There's another counter like that just for Donkey Kong too. That one doesn't have a dare. Short hop dare? Yeah, into a spike, yeah. So keep in mind, this is all one move, but look at the super wide range of application. I think this is something I also love about Smash, because every move is basically much more complex than it seems. You can be a specialist in the move. Here's Dare countering Witch Time, which this is so inconsistent. Don't even try this. Bayonetta, get out of here. This is an interesting rage combo that can kill Meta Knight even on Final Destination from 0 damage. So here's a really cool thing. So you hit him with the late part of the dash attack, which is another thing I keep trying to tell people. Advanced techniques are not about hidden button combinations. They're not about secret rules, and they're not about like crazy things you have to practice in the lab that, you know, are invisible and are hard to tell. If your action game is designed well, which means it's designed to be seen and the action needs to be on the screen, and the sort of story of the action, like where the punches hit, what's the risk reward, what's happening, where characters are flying, positioning, all that is super clear. That's what's important about action games, and staying true to that is what gives you a much cleaner, much more effective final product. So in this case, we know that if Mario dash attacks, it can hit, it has like a window when it's active. I'll show you. So like Mario's dash attack can hit early. If it hits early, as you can see, what are you doing? Bam, it just hits the opponent away, right? But for some odd reason, the later Mario's dash attack hits, it hits the opponent above, it like crosses head. I think that's out in Smash Ultimate. I mean, I like this subtle difference, but in this case, in this combo, hitting it later means you recover from the animation faster, because unlike aerial moves, ground moves are a set timing and you can't do anything about it, which is why a lot of people don't use ground moves, which is probably why they all need to be sped up, which is why I like in Smash Ultimate, Smash attacks and tilts look like they're a lot faster. So look at that. You use the latest part of your dash attack to hit Meta Knight, and then Meta Knight goes above Mario's head, but Mario's damage is 126. This is outside of training mode, so I could use Rage. Dash attack comes in, hits Meta Knight this way. Mario recovers much sooner than if he hit Meta Knight at any other point in the dash attack earlier. And now that Meta Knight's right here, Mario's going to pursue with a jump down air. The hit stun is not great enough for Meta Knight to not air dodge. But the interesting part is Meta Knight is at the top of the arc, right? This is something that I've tried to express so much in Brawl. I'm like, even though the Brawl's air dodge system was fundamentally like too powerful, broken, busted, whatever you want to call it, you were supposed to attack people at the arc so that even if they air dodge, they're essentially in the same place because their gravity hasn't taken over yet. This combo shows exactly what that dynamic is. If Meta Knight air dodges, he's still right in the same place for the most part from the follow-up. And if he doesn't air dodge, he gets hit by the follow-up. Like, this is a setup based on timing and positioning and, you know, understanding the hit stun that catches the opponent, which is clever timing. Like, Mario's down airing immediately, or almost immediately, and trying to pursue his opponent, right? Boom, boom. And if he air dodges the follow-up dare, boom. Caught him a little late, right? That's super cool. And because Meta Knight's a lightweight and Mario's, the middle hits of his coin have a lot of knockback, I'm killing Meta Knight at basically 10 damage, 12 damage. This has only happened in the tournament a few times, and people are like, oh, let's complain about Rage. It doesn't happen that much. Every new effective thing in Smash is going to have a season, and then it's going to probably taper down as people learn counters and learn to avoid it. That's what you want in a fighting game. You want things to techniques and playstyles and characters to flare up and bloom for a period and then get, you know, worked back into the main fold. You want people to exploit something cheap like that. Not too long, you know, especially if it actually has counters, that's fine. But if it's Bayonetta, we can complain all day. Yeah, here's another trap that's pretty cool. Even if the opponent air dodges, you can trap with just down tilt with Mario, right? And a lot of people don't do this. This is how the air dodge system in Smash 4 why it's so good. And I'm not really too excited about Smash Ultimate's air dodge system because this is so clean. In pursuing opponents and trapping them because just how the hit stun works out, like, this is just so interesting. And then another Mewtwo 0 to death combo if you have Rage. Too bad lightweights. That one has a DI mix up in the middle, just like I explained before, where you cross Mewtwo up and he doesn't know which way to hold the control stick and you kill him. Oh yeah, and that other trap was possible because the active hitboxes are out so long. You know, you can trap people. It's pretty self-explanatory. Oh, so here's the cool stuff I was talking about. If you full jump and the opponent thinks you're going to, opponent tries to air dodge or shield or counterattack in any way, if you full jump instead of short hop, like right here, Mario rises up really high. So like Mewtwo probably doesn't have time to react to the fact that Mario's up there. Because the move wraps up so quickly, if they try to air dodge out of your attack, they're going to be in landing lag right here. And then Mario can pursue with these really effective follow-ups. And the opponent's not paying really close attention. That could be death at, what damage, 35? Like you could kill your opponent at 35 with a setup. That's like a split-second difference between them surviving and not. Like, that's really good. Do people do this? No. The design space in Smash is so big. People specialize in so many different areas and different attacks that almost nobody's going to do this. I labbed it, so I'll do it. But I'm one Mario of many, and I'm not even good. So just imagine, like, how much more there is to discover. This is one move. One move down air that has all this application and setup. And the more you design Smash like this, where there are holes, it's conservative, you know, every move has pros and cons, but you gotta work it in and work around it, the better I think the game is. And a lot of people who just, you know, adore the tiers too much in any Smash game, I don't think understand this at all. I mean, sure, winning is like a thing, right? Sometimes you just gotta win and suck it up. But from a design perspective, we don't have to worry about winning. We're worried about how players will win or how players should win after we release the game. And really, this whole channel is about design. It's not really about commenting on tournament players. So yeah, that's probably all the cool stuff from Mario's Down Air that I want to show. I have like 0 time to go over Pac-Man. I love Pac-Man so much. I'm going to do it when I get back. Well, let me send a text and see if I have to go. That's right, sending a text on stream. Because that's how I do it. Oh, so that's Mario. Anything else about the Down Air? And as a whole, oh, so here's another cool thing about the Down Air. I can't demonstrate it, but the opponents can let go of shield before the final hit and then reshield to automatically get a perfect shield like 100% of the time. And that means they can counterattack Mario pretty... Oh yeah, this is so cool. Let me find it. This is what the Smash Dojo is all about. You type in 2 words, Mario and Dare, and you're going to get a whole history and library of cool techniques. Yeah, that's like the other combos I showed you with Peach, Greninja, and Ryu taking people up the top. And these are extensions that start from this Down Air here and combo them into these other awkward situations where they don't know which way to DI. And by Mario doing the pivot grab right here, he's on the left, but in a split second he's on the right? And that messes people up a lot. So you don't need freaking super fast movement. You don't need dash dancing. You don't need like split second timing to get really cool stuff to happen. This is what I keep trying to tell people. Like when you're in your opponent's head and when you're in the heat of the moment playing, the difference between like walking, I'll show you here. Walking a little bit out of the way preemptively and the difference between dashing away, it's not that much, right? So we can count the frames. Like if Mario could dash right here, like trying to get out of nest. Let's see. I'm going to input a dash. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's about, in 7 frames, he's about that far away. And then let's say if I were just walking out of the way and I were right here and I just like crank the stick. Let's see. 1, 2. It's so hard. It's so hard to do this in slow motion. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like he gets about to this bush instead of no more slow motion. That timing wise is about the same as that, right? Like it's just a tiny walk out of the way. And if you measure your spacing correctly, then you don't need to have all this erratic, crazy, fast movement. Walking out of the way is hilarious, right? And being out of the way is what's important, not necessarily how flashy you look doing it. And Smash has always been a game that gave players control analog-wise, horizontally and in the air, and that's never changed. That's why I keep saying that's the core of Smash. It's still here, and it's still going strong. That's a double trap. That was really funny. Eat it, Sheik. Any more cool dare stuff? This is cool because you can kill Zero Suit Samus. And that's why that's cool. Just imagine if instead of building this website, this feature were more built into the game. That would be so cool. Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. This is one of my favorite combos I kind of did in tournament. So Bayonetta is a fast faller, but she's also light. So she'll die faster if you hit her hard, but if you hit her softly, she's going to be pretty close to you. So in this combo, even though it's a little sped up because of whatever, you down throw and you down air. Remember the hole I told you about? Well, Bayonetta has a move that keeps her safe on frame 1. If she even gets 1 frame of a space on you, a gap, she can use this Bats Within, which is basically an air dodge. So she uses it, but it slams her to the ground. Because Mario's move wraps up so quickly, you can get down and repeat the process. Put her in a vortex. She does it again, and she's not careful. If she's facing your back, you can slam down, do down air and up smash, just like I told you before. Like, freaking beautiful combo. Just like, get out. You can't get out of anything. She probably should have just taken the down air hits. Too bad. Here's another cool one. Same situation, right? But you do it from a down throw, jump up air, or a super rising up air. And depending on the stage, if she air dodges it there, you kill her with this. And if she doesn't air dodge on the down air right here, you can kill her with that. That's super cool. Learning where your ranges are, learning what your power is, and finding a situation where no matter how you try to wiggle out of this, you freaking jerk, I'm going to kill you. And that's just the anger against Bayo. It's nothing against the other player. Here's another setup. Down, up air. See that? At the very fringe. So this is almost outside of Mario's control. Like, look how far away Bayo is. The down air almost didn't even reach her. Like, stop. Okay, so right there. I start the down air so early. Hey, what's up? So I start the dare so early. These early hits aren't even hitting, but I don't want the early hits. I want the late hits to hit. So I do it early, and then Bayonetta gets hit just in time to combo. Look on the right side. She couldn't jump out of this. That's mainly what this combo meter means. Sure, she could have DI'd it, but let's say she didn't, because that's all I can do. This is all I got. You down air, and the final hit, which is the important one, the Black Lightning, kills her. And then next time she goes, I'm definitely going to air dodge. Go ahead. Down air early, she air dodges, wraps up early, you convert into Mario's other super cool move, which is an up B, takes her higher, 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 and at this high on the screen at 130, you're freaking dead. That's cool. What's up, Design? Or what's up, Fojige? Fojige. How do you pronounce your name? Here is a same kind of situation with Cloud. You jack his DI. It's just showing you. This is showing you the difference between if somebody DIs it and you stay on the left side and they DI right, versus if they DI right and you cross them up. That's the difference. 45-degree angle right versus a straight upness. So that's crazy. Smash Brothers created its own kind of cross up. That's its own unique kind of cross up, basically. Yeah, this is the same trap I showed you before. Hey, look at a rice combo. Yay, ending with dare, why not? How cool is this? So normally, Fox is so lightweight at this damage that he flies too far away to footstool him, but you dare recover as quickly as possible and then hit him with an up air, which is so weak because of the low damage, he just kind of tumbles in front of you, and then you can get a footstool. Not guaranteed. Super cool. Oops. Thanks for the warning. I keep doing that. There we go. Combos. I'll go back and show you the Bayonetta one because I want to see Bayonetta dead. Where is it? This was the Bayonetta trap I told you about before. Down air into a jump, down air, and she tries to escape and you kill her. And she can't get out because the down airs recover faster than she recovers from her crazy cheap move. Too bad. This is the up air to down air trap. That even if she's that high in the air, she still gets trapped by it because the down air is an amazing move that can kill or follow you. This is the super jump down air, super rising, where you full jump up air and clip the person in the face. And even if they air dodge it, you follow it up with the up B and they die. No, you totally caught me. I needed the help. I keep forgetting to switch the screen, and I didn't know what you meant at first. I gotta switch screens. I'm like, oh, I thought you were playing something. No, it makes sense. Thanks. So these are all the different, just more applications for down air. Let's see what this one is. Oh, this is called a danger jump down air, which is pretty cool. So if you want a perfect auto cancel from a full jump down air, if you can't get the timing, I suggest doing this thing to help you time it out for you. You double jump as quickly as possible, and as you can see, the double jump ring right there is super close to the ground. Right here. That means I use both of my jumps, which is typically you shouldn't do, but this is a specific technique called a danger jump. And by doing that and immediately up airing right here, if you immediately down air afterwards, it's a perfect auto cancel to where Mario auto cancels right before landing. So you use other moves to help measure you out, right? Because otherwise you kind of have to eyeball it or time it, and sometimes that's difficult. So we created these small optimizations. That's why it says optimization. You can search for all the optimizations we have if you're just super curious about that. Down air into other cool setups. Oh, this is the landing. So here's the landing hit from down here, and I told you before this was really good for combos, but it actually hits below the stage, which is kind of funny, like that. So you can edgeguard people that are kind of sloppily recovering, and then you can even combo this into down smash. I'm pretty sure, or down smash or something. That's funny. So much application, and so that's another cool thing about Smash. It's like 5 games, right? Edge guarding, ground to ground, air to air, and platforms. And I've showed you how down air is versatile on all these cases. Edge guarding, you can flip people around backwards and rise up out of their recoveries and try to clip them. Ground to ground, you can make combos. Well, I guess there's no ground to ground for an air move because that doesn't make any sense. But short hop, air to ground, you can do all this stuff. You can do super jump or full jump and get an air to air. You can clip people in the air and track them back down to the ground. That's like, and then platforms make wonderful extenders. So that's why this game's super cool. Kill characters, kill them, kill them. So yeah, that's probably why down air I vote to be one of the most elegantly complex moves in the game with the widest variety and the most Smash 4 move, right? So every Smash game is tuned differently. Every Smash game is designed with different things to be their advantage and different things to be their disadvantage and so on and so forth. And Smash 4 is my favorite Smash for reasons like this. It's so rich. It's too rich because we're never going to get even close to the bottom of it. And even when I try to talk to other Mario players, I'm like, let's talk about the down air. They're like, oh, I only do like 2 out of the 16 things you listed. I'm like, hey, that's still good, but I would like for more people to do more of these things. So sometimes you're like, oh, is it a communication problem? Well, that's why we built the website so people can find this stuff. But ultimately, it's a learning problem. And this game's so complex, there's only so much you can do. So, I really want to do Pac-Man. I love Pac-Man. I love these characters so much. It's so fun. Pac-Man versus Mewtwo. So I guess I can wrap up by saying Mario's Dare is one of the moves I vote to be one of the most complex and most Smash 4-y, and by extension most Smash Bros-y types of moves, right? It's a very Smash Brothers move. It's got all sorts of things built into it, including knockback and combos and short knockback and long knockback that you can study the entire game just by looking at all those examples. But Pac-Man, let's go Pac-Man. Pac-Man is so cool. So, I mean, the Pac-Man stage in Smash Wii U is hideous, and I don't even know if I've unlocked it. So too bad. We go to Mega Man. Another move that I think is the most complex move in all of Smash, is this move right here. That's it. Seems like an ordinary projectile, right? Well, one, it's 8 moves in one. Each one of these does something different. And I'll show you the page for it because you gotta see the frame data. Oop. I can't believe I didn't switch the screen over. Here we go. I'm not gonna forget this time. Okay, so this is Pac-Man's frame data, and look at this bonus fruit section. This is all for that one attack. Each attack is different. See all these numbers being different? Base damage 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 9, 8, 15. The angle in which they hit you is different. 55, 55, 30, 75, 55, 70, 55, 55. Different enough. Knockback growth, base knockback, 40, 30, 40, 40, 60, 50, 40, 40, and then growth, the key, 90, 120. What is this? The bell? Really? 120, 80, 100, 176. So like this is a lot. And they all have different, like what's not shown here is they all have different speeds when you throw them. They all have different bounce numbers. So they bounce a certain number of times when they hit the ground, they disappear. They all have different movement patterns, which I'll show you here. So like Cherry, oop, that's the key. Cherry just goes bounce, bounce, and then blinks. And if you pick it up before it goes away, you can pick it up and hold it. Strawberry bounce, bounce, bounce. It's 3 bounces instead of 2. Melon, or this orange, doesn't bounce. It just flies straight with a slight downward arc. This apple, bounce, 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 bounce. 4. Oops. And the apple doesn't like to stay on the ground much. This melon, slow arc with the bounce. So it bounces unlike the orange, but it travels really slowly. This Galaga or Galaxian doesn't bounce at all. It just goes. And see that angle? It went upwards. Now check this out. Same angle. Come on. It's random, by the way. See a different angle. It went more shallow. Now let's try this one. More shallow. Back to the original angle. I think there's 2. Yeah. So there's 2 angles in which it can go. Okay. Kind of hard to deal with, but you deal with it. And then the final bell never changes its angle. Ooh, that's a key. This is not the final. Bell always goes bounce, 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 and quickly disappears, right? So it hangs in that one spot for a few seconds, a few frames. Bounce, bounce, and then disappears. And then finally the key doesn't bounce. It's like the orange, but it flies faster and it hits harder. 15 damage. Almost covers the entire stage, right? So that's not too impressive, right? Different things for different things. But then, again, the properties of these are crazy. So like this cherry, when it hits someone, it's just like a weak little hit. Decent knockback, even at low damage. Oops. Even at low damage, it's like a decent little dunk, dunk. Right? See how the character got knocked into the air and flipped around? Not all attacks have enough base knockback to lift people in the air no matter what. The orange sends people out and down. So I'm going to put Mewtwo at 50 damage so you can see the difference. The orange sends people out and away. So anytime you get hit out and down in Smash, it makes it even harder for you to recover. That's just the rule. So like bam, he flies out and dips down a little bit. Not many attacks do that. So I can do that and like hit. Oh, come on. get hit by my orange. See that? How he went out and down? It's harder for him to recover. I bounced it off the side of the stage, by the way. It's super cool. Beep, like that, and you can catch it. It's freaking so cool. The next one, Apple sends people up. So if they have high damage, like even higher damage, I've seen Pac-Man get kills basically by being in the air, and normally all the fruits go forward, right? But this one fruit goes down. Very few projectiles in the game have that angle. Pikachu's Thunder Jolt, Mario's Fireball, and that's about it. So pretty unique there. Melon hits hard, but it travels slow, so the cool thing is you can kind of throw it and like follow it up. It can kill. But again, not most of these really don't kill. And Mewtwo's light, that killed. Too bad, Mewtwo. The next one, Galaxian. The cool part about Galaxian is it hits multiple times. So every like half second or so, it refreshes its hit rate. So you can get hit twice, just like that. You can get hit 4 times in a combo from one Galaxian throw. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like because I will not be able to reproduce it myself. Pac-Man, Rob. Where are my videos? Right here? Galaxian, Galaxian, you throw it again, Galaxian, 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 and he got hit. The last 3 hits were a true combo, doing 27 damage total. Look, he goes from 50 to 104. It's so crazy. So this is the power of Galaxian. It's a little random. Like I got a really favorable angle right there, but otherwise this is the setup. Galaxian, Galaxian, throw Galaxian, Galaxian, hit. How crazy is that? No, if you get the loop just right, which is it goes past him but still keeps close enough to get that second loop, that's what you want. You want at least 2 hits per Galaxian. Crazy. And again, that's super what I consider to be the core of Smash Brothers. If you know anything about Street Fighter, their fireballs, like reused fireballs, are tuned very meticulously. Like if you do them at point blank range, you don't really have an advantage. But if you do like a low medium and you kind of hit them with your toes and then go into a fireball, the time that you gain from the fireball to travel and hit their shield, it's more time for you to recover. And then the fact that it hit their shield later, well, the fact that it hits their shield from farther away means they get pushed back farther away, which means you're out of range of some of their quickest jab attacks, even safer, and so on and so forth, right? Like so the move isn't like safe in and of itself. It's not just going to be safe in all contexts. You got to find the sweet spot that's usually based on spacing in Street Fighter's case, and you play around those spaces, right? And sometimes you take the risk knowing that it's unsafe, and maybe if they didn't catch it, they won't, aggress or retaliate. Sometimes you just play it safe the whole time, but a move to have a sweet spot like that and to be in sort of a spectrum of effectiveness is, I think, what makes the very fine and precise control in action games and fighting games work, right? You don't want moves that should be like, no matter where you're using, no matter where it hits, all the same, blah, blah, blah. Like, you want the game to have as much complexity and richness as what's apparent on the screen. And if there's a tiny inch of gap, maybe that tiny inch of gap matters. And the more those tiny inches of gaps matter, I think the more of a solid core fighting experience you're developing, right? So less about cancels, less about meter management, less about switch-ins, less about weird systems that sit on top, and the more you're just like, where can I stand, where can I sit, where can I be to make this attack more effective? That's fighting games. This one, the bell, it hits close and it kind of falls, and then it also hits far away if I toss it like this. Boop. But see how it has a paralyzing effect? The paralyzing effect is based on damage, and how far they fly away from it is also based on damage. So this attack is one of the best, but it's not going to get you like easy kills. Like look how small he went. Like he just fell over, and the shock time wasn't a lot. But look at this. Boop. Goodbye. Basic idea is just based on damage. Okay, then the final one's Key. Key is pretty strong. It does 15 damage. It flies straight and pretty fast. Very few charge moves in the game fly this fast. So it's kind of like, get hit. Oh, get hit by my key, please. Bam. So people are kind of fearing the key. You do the other ones, you do other things, whatever. So many different things to discuss just with these setups. We have a move that attacks diagonally downward. We have a move that arcs upward and lands on the ground. We have moves that travel and bounce and even dip off the stage. Like if you're going to edge guard, which is something I like. This is funny. Beep. Beep. And you see how the cherry just like tumbles off the stage? Beep. Beep. It almost hit him. Beep. Like that's really cool. Not a lot of attacks arc down, like I said before. Look how long the lingering hitboxes go. This is hilarious. And the strawberry doesn't arc down as much. Beep. You know, because it's a different flying arc. So on and so forth. So there's a lot of just specific complexities about these things that are just kind of all there for you to experiment with. There's other cool things about this move, like when you do it in the air, see how it makes Pac-Man like hover just a little bit? So this is his normal jump, and this is his hover jump. Oop. Hover. Hover. Way slower. And then if you pump it, you still get the benefits of the hover, even though you don't like actually hold the fruit that long. If I can pull it off. There you go. So like, I just love that, and his up air kind of hovers him a little bit too, so he's just like... Just tiny little details like that that I think make Pac-Man really, really shine. Because Pac-Man comes from a top-down game, and he's normally running around the screen in any direction he wants, but Smash Bros. Has gravity, so how do you make a character that normally just goes up, down, left, right at his leisure, move around similarly in a game with gravity? Well, you give him a trampoline, so that's up. You give him the side B, so that's left and right, and when he travels from the side B, he follows the direction you pointed, so you can technically go up, down, left, right with this thing alone, which is really cool. He hovers when he uses side B, so even if you go like this, for a slight moment you fall slower, so that's also cool. His up air slightly hovers him, and his neutral B, so you can do a lot of stuff like just never touching the ground and almost carving your own space for Pac-Man, which is why. And then his hydrant hovers him, right? So you can even jump off the hydrant, do a fruit, power that up, jump, side B, hydrant, jump, side B, angle it up, fruit, so on and so forth. That's why it's just one of the cool little common things that you can do with Pac-Man's moves. So each of these fruit can be picked up, and once you pick them up, if you throw it again, it'll disappear and you can't pick it up no matter what. So everyone gets like one toss with these fruits. If you throw it at your opponent, there's a good chance your opponent will pick it up, at least on the initial toss. Pick it up. And that's annoying, because when they have your fruit, or when there's one fruit on the field, no other fruit can be used. I'll show you, like, and then like, yeah, now he has it. Now I can't get fruit. Like, nothing's coming out, and then he tosses it. So learning how to pick up every fruit is different. You have to find all these clever things. Like this cherry's easy. It just falls right in front of you. Cherry's easy. Strawberry, you need a little bit more running room, but you can get it pretty easily. The green one, the melon, you need a lot more running room. You can't, it's really hard to get the orange. You have to actually, like I showed you before, throw it against the side stage and jump and catch it like that. Melon, you have to run and catch up to it. You get one bounce and you pretty much know that's how much time you have to catch up to it. The apple is nearly impossible. You can do it at low damage. So one thing I said, Pac-Man's fruits are like really interesting, like I'm showing you now. They're subtle, but they have some pretty obvious counters. One, if the opponent attacks, it's just like a low priority projectile, so they can attack right through it even if you're throwing it at their face. Two, if they attack, they're likely to catch it if you're throwing it, you know, from your summon, right, from the first toss. That's also annoying. And three, it's like a lot of time invested just to have that happen, and it's not like these things are super strong. Like 7 damage, even 15 damage, it's not a lot compared to other max charges. So it's cool in Ultimate that they made the charge faster. I like that. I think they should just make the toss animation faster, but maybe they did, which is going to be great for Pac-Man, because he's already, I think this character's great. People just don't know how to play him correctly. But for the apple, if you dash attack and full jump and throw the apple, you can catch it. Not easy, because once they get out of that sort of low damage range, you can't do that. Another way to get the apple, which I've never mastered, is like you throw a hydrant and then you like jump at it and throw it at the hydrant. Oh, I missed it. And then catch it. Yeah, I did it. Yeah. So like that's the only really effective way to get the apple. And the cool part is once you have it in your hand, you can neutral drop it as much as you want, as long as you don't toss it up, down, left, or right, which is why I've developed an entire fighting style to playing around with neutral dropping fruit. Yeah, you're dead. Oh, Mewtwo is so fun. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, catching the apple, catching the melon, catching the Galaxian, you just need runway, and you can even do the Galaxian in midair, which is pretty cool. Can you? You have to jump and move forward, and then jump and catch it. I think you can catch it in midair. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So like the only fruit you can do in midair like that. Yeah. Otherwise, with the Galaxian, you toss it and just chase it. Dash attack works. What's another one? The bell is easy because it lands in front of you. You just toss it, pick it up. And then the key is super hard. Super hard. You have to like throw it on the edge of a stage, and if the stage is like Battlefield where the edges are really thin, you can't really pick it up. Oh my gosh. See how it disappears so quickly? My other technique was this. There, that's probably better for me because I made it for myself. I B-reversed the key, and then that brought me closer to where it was about to disappear. But yeah, this thing is powerful. Look at that. It did like 50 damage. You can neutral drop it, catch neutral drop, and catch. That's 34 damage. So the power of the key and all the fruit has such a wide application. You can summon it and toss it and pick it up and neutral drop it. If you neutral drop it on the hydrant, it breaks it immediately because it's over the threshold health for the hydrant. You can do stuff like that and like trap people. You can even toss it still. Like so good. So much variety. It's crazy. So each one of these, kind of like what I showed you with Mario's Fireball, has its. You can make a whole sort of play style, fighting style specialized in each individual fruit, and there's 8 total. I'll show you a little bit of what I've done, hopefully, and then we'll call it a day. So the Galaxian combo here is really cool, but notice how carefully I have to space myself so that the 2 hits work. And then you instant toss it upwards, and it does a loop. And you have to make sure you're facing the right direction, otherwise it won't loop correctly. You have to face away from your opponent, and then the loop will go backwards. That's just little details. All my videos are breaking, makes me sad. This one's cool. You forward tilt and then you throw the Galaxian, and then the second hit hits them, and then you can kill them. So if they do a neutral get up or attack get up, you got them trapped. How crazy is that? Or if they roll, you can just grab your Galaxian and keep moving on with your life. Not a big deal. 39. There's no combo in any other Smash that looks anything like this. This is what I love about when characters are, I mean, all the characters in Smash, you try to make them unique. You try to give them properties, no matter how subtle, so that they can move in their own way, attack in their own way, and find their own way to get the job done. That's what I love. I love Pac-Man. Here's another setup, forward tilt and the bell. And if they tech roll towards you, they get shocked. You can smash them. If they go away, you can pick up the bell. If they tech in place, you can do these cool combos like this. If they shield it, you can still follow it up. It's just not the best. If they roll towards you, you can kick them into the bell. And those are all the combinations. So like this is what Smash Brothers also is all about. Like the bell toss and all of Pac-Man's fruit tosses are not that fast. He doesn't recover that fast from it. And I think one of the mistakes you'll make trying to make your own Smash style game or whatever, for anyone who's ever tried or wants to try, you make everything fast because you can't imagine a world where a move will be viable if it's even medium speed, right? Because everything's so fast. And that's why I always caution people, don't let speed get out of control. If the core of what makes these games great is how things are arranged on the screen, how the visual feedback is super clean and crisp, and how the precision there is what feeds the core gameplay, then you don't want to make things too fast, or you just like literally can't see very well. The refresh rate on the screen, the amount of distance covered, the changing color pixels, like all that becomes harder and harder and harder for humans to interpret what's happening on the screen the faster the gameplay is. Sure, it kind of feels cool on your fingers, but a lot of times what you have to memorize and what you input allows you to see better, and it's just harder for viewers and therefore harder for your opponent. You just don't need to go that far. In this, I found a situation where using Pac-Man's weird little forward tilt, it sends the opponent in such a low tumble that it allows this setup that gives me basically 4 out of 6 positive outcomes, right? And that's pretty good. Like, this is kind of what Smash is about. Low risk, medium reward. And it's medium reward because I found a setup, not because of the forward tilt is that good, right? Here's another cool setup. Look how cool that is. It's combining so many pieces. Forward tilt, the trap. You set the trap, then you catch the thing with the jump forward air. He flies forward after the stun's over. Footstool him, and since he can't really DI that well left or right from the footstool, you can react to it, drop the bell on him, and the bell can only shock the opponent if they've touched the ground. So you can't like bell, shock them, grab it, throw it in midair, and bell them again. It doesn't work. They have to touch the ground. So that's why I put the footstool in there. Makes Rob touch the ground, and I follow it up with a second bell. And then I do the charge attack, which is hard to land in neutral, as you might imagine. That is so cool. You've never seen anything like this in all of Smash. Freaking a low risk, medium reward setup to a moves that go straight down in Smash, especially projectiles, are rare. This moves that paralyze are rare. So this combo, rare. Combo into footstool doesn't even happen in Melee. There's no footstools. Use a move that goes straight down. Only Pac-Man really has a move that's this crisp. Hits the ground, picks him back up, kind of like a Marvel vs. Capcom combo. Because I threw the hydrant so high on the screen, it gave me enough time to recover in midair instead of landing on the hydrant. And then I tossed my bell beyond the target. And because aerial, when you toss items from your hand instead of summoning it and throwing it like Pac-Man's neutral special, you recover faster. So because I recover faster, boom, boom, I was able to jump. And before the bell hits him, Rob's hit stun will run out and he might air dodge. To prevent that, I kick him. It lines up perfectly with the bell, and then after that, Pac-Man can use a very unique hovering move with a charge that the longer I charge it and I angle it, anticipating the knockback of Rob, that's this crazy combo. There is nothing like this. There's nothing like this in any Smash for any one character, and Pac-Man has 3 or 4 super unique moves, and putting it all together is just amazing. I wish I pulled this off in tournament, actually. Not tournament, free play, because I suck. But that's alright. That's alright. And notice I had to get the large footstool in midair instead of the short hop version. It's bigger, if you know the difference. This footstool right here is bigger. Look how high I went. That's crazy. That is so crazy. So you can combo the cherry into smash attacks, which is pretty cool because the item toss animation, once again, is super short. So you can just like combo into smashes. And a lot of people have found interesting ways to combo into smashes, and this is Pac-Man's. His smashes aren't particularly fast either. And at higher damages, you can glide toss it downwards and combo into up smash, which is really cool. Which is a great landing trap. If they think you're going to try to attack and they air dodge, you just toss the cherry down. The hitboxes on it are a lot more active than you think. This is another cool one where you fake them out, and if they spot dodge or whatever, you just drop the cherry on them and start charging the side B behind them. So hilarious. I love this stuff. This is the one with Rob. You can combo into a grounded footstool when he's at 80 damage or above. Guaranteed. You can't do anything about that. That means you can combo that into a hydrant. You can combo the hydrant into other stuff. So it's just building the pieces. Building the pieces. Yeah, and then you can neutral drop, and because the neutral drop hits on frame 1, it's one of the fastest attacks in the game. So Pac-Man's animation, as you can see with his arm, he holds items behind himself because he does this really cool pose like that. That means when you drop the item, instead of dropping in the middle of Pac-Man's body, it drops behind him. Pretty unique. And because of that, I've developed this whole backwards fighting style where you neutral drop items and follow them up with other attacks for really cool damage, right? And then you can do combos like that, just easy 25 damage, and you can confirm the cherry hit before you do the up air by reacting to it, even though smashers don't like to react. It's something you can definitely do. That's cool too. Up tilt, up air, neutral air, neutral air. Like, that up tilt sucks otherwise, but at least you can do something with it. Again, down cherry into up smash. And this is just with the cherry or low hitting fruits like cherry. Each fruit has a different knockback. You can develop plenty of different combos from all these different types of fruit. Up tilt, up air, yeah. That's crazy. So you combo the hydrant at low damage because Pac-Man recovers. He can landing nair in enough time because the hydrant does a good amount of hit stun. You landing nair, recovers fairly quickly into a jab because jabs are fast. The water comes from behind me, and after my finisher and the jab, usually you're committed there and you can't do any follow-ups. But the water pushes me off, and I immediately buffer to the key and follow it up for a 43 damage combo at 0. Crazy. Like, this is what Smash is all about. This is, like, water. What are you going to do with water? Like, hydrant, like, what are you going to do with hydrant? Drop it on their heads, like, and have no follow-ups? Well, like, maybe there's a percentage and a setup and using the edge and the environment and all the pieces. You just keep putting it together, and you can do some crazy stuff. Stuff like that too, which is cool. Yeah, this is when I was labbing on the 3DS. Same basic combo we saw before. Yes. Oops. Yeah, this is less about fruit. Get the fruit back. I guess I can't show you a lot of the fruit combos because I don't have videos of it, but hopefully that gives you a really good idea about the complexity of Smash, how easy it is to underestimate any one move, but how fun it is to sort of just think simply and clearly, going like, how can I use this? And no matter how long you play Smash, you're never going to fully answer that question because being designed systemically, they didn't design the fruit to be like, first do a down tilt and then follow it up with fruit because that's how we designed it. It's just fruit. You summon it, you throw it, that's it. Everything else is on you. Where you want to throw it, how much you want to charge, how much you want to stay up in the air when you're charging it, how you want to cancel it into a shield, a roll, an air dodge, whatever. Like, it's all on you. And that's probably why not a lot of people use the fruit well, because maybe that's a little too much work on the players. That's another topic for another day. It's been fun going over two of some of my favorite characters in Smash and showing you the One Smash database, which is why it's built. If I didn't have all these things in video, I certainly wouldn't remember all these. I might have a spreadsheet, but it's just so much more interesting seeing it all displayed nicely and reading the descriptions if it doesn't make your head spin. So this is just one more reason why I think the subtle differences between Smash 4 and everything else in the entire universe, not every other platform fighter, every other Smash game. Like, this is where it's at. And as much as possible, I consider design changes that get rid of annoying things and that give characters and players more confidence in discovering stuff like this and more success in doing stuff like this, because certainly labbing these things isn't easy, and DI can make things pretty crazy. So, like, I'm always thinking about ways of how can we, you know, take everything that I know and appreciate about Smash and get players to also see the same things and be inspired by the same things and stop complaining about things that they think they want or think they need and use the things that they have that are already amazing. So that's just how designers think. And if you like this kind of stuff, you know, give us a like on YouTube, follow us on the streams. We got a few more Smash streams coming up. Enjoy your 4th of July, and I'll see you guys next time.